So next, if you look at the exponential standard limits, you have two formulas. Limit x tends to 0, a to the x minus 1 by x is equal to ln a, e to the x minus 1 by x is equal to 1. Now how does questions be asked? How will the questions be asked? So something like limit x tends to 0, very simple question is 2 power x minus 1 by 3 power x minus 1. What is the value of this limit? So as you can very clearly see, this is very closely related to this formula. So what I do is limit x tends to 0, 2 power x minus 1 by x. I'll divide both the numerator and denominator by x. So limit x tends to 0, 2 to the x minus 1 by x by 3 to the x minus 1 by x. So in the numerator, it's of this form. So the answer will be ln 2 by the denominator is ln 3, which is equal to ln 2 to the base 3. Because both the bases are e's, so from the base change formula, you get ln 2 to the base 3 as the answer. So next, if you have something like this, limit x tends to 0, 2 power 3x minus 1 by 3 power 2x minus 1. So again, this can be done again in the similar fashion as we did in the first question. So this is equal to limit x tends to 0. First what I do is I'll divide both numerator and denominator with x. So 2 power 3x minus 1 by x divided by 3 power 2x minus 1 by x. Next what we are going to do is, so as you can see here, something tends to 0, a power same thing by same thing is equal to ln a. Now I will separate these limits. That is limit x tends to 0, 2 power 3x minus 1 by x divided by limit x tends to 0, 3 power 2x minus 1 by x. Now in the limit in the numerator, what I do is I'll multiply the numerator and denominator with 3. And in the denominator, I'll multiply the numerator and denominator with 2. Now as x tends to 0, 3x also tends to 0. So 3x tends to 0, 2 power 3x minus 1 by 3x. So this whole thing goes to ln 2. So the numerator is 3 times ln 2. And the denominator is 2 times 3 power 2x minus 1 by 2x, as 2x tends to 0 is ln 3. So that is equal to 3 by 2 ln 2 to the base 3 is the answer to this question. Next, let us look at this question. So limit x tends to 0, e power x square minus 1 by 1 minus cos x. So again, if you do the direct substitution, x is equal to 0, x square is also equal to 0. So e power 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 by 1 minus 1. You're getting 0 by 0 form. Now let us try to use the standard limits. As you can see, the numerator looks like an exponential form. The denominator looks like a trigonometric form. So what I do is limit x tends to 0, e power x square minus 1 divided by 1 minus cos x is 2 sine square x by 2. So 1 minus cos x is 2 sine square x by 2. Now as we know, if you have x here, you have to have x here and you have to have x here. So as x tends to 0, x square also tends to 0. So you should have an x square in the denominator. So that is equal to, so what I do is, I'll divide both numerator and denominator by x square. E power x square minus 1 by x square divided by 2 sine square x by 2 by x square. Now I'll separate the limits. That is equal to limit x tends to 0, e power x square minus 1 by x square divided by limit x tends to 0, 2 sine square x by 2 is sine x by 2 into sine x by 2 by x square, x into x. Now in the numerator, as you can see, as x tends to 0, x square also tends to 0. As x tends to 0, x square also tends to 0. So x square tends to 0, e power x square minus 1 by x square, this whole limit will become equal to 1. And in the denominator, we have x tends to 0, so x by 2 also tends to 0. So x by 2 tends to 0, sin x by 2 by x by 2 should be there, so that it becomes 1. So what I do is x by 2 into 2, x by 2 into 2. So sin x by 2 by x by 2 will go to 1, sin x by 2 by x by 2 will go to 1. 1, 2 and another 2 gets cancelled. So we have the answer as 1 by 2, which is equal to 2. So this value of limit is equal to 2 is the answer. Thank you.